In search of the wild ponies of Chincoteague. The Chincoteague ponies are probably the most famous of all the East Coast equines. They are specifically called ponies as opposed to horses because of their small stature, and they have been established with a breed registry. They are known throughout the world as approximately 40,000 people converge on Chincoteague Island every year to witness Pony Penning Week the last week in July. The success of Marguerite Henry's book, Misty of Chincoteague, made the wild ponies famous. The ponies actually live on Assateague Island, not Chincoteague Island. There is a bridge from Chincoteague over to Assateague, a barrier island which is approximately 37 miles in length. The southern 13 miles belong to Virginia, while the remaining 24 belong to Maryland. Wild ponies live in Virginia, wild horses live in Maryland. The Virginia ponies are privately owned by the Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company and are divided into two distinct herds, the southern herd of approximately 50 ponies and the northern herd of approximately 100 ponies. The ponies may graze 2,695 acres in the north, while only 547 acres in the southern part. They are confined behind barbed wire fences to protect other wildlife habitat as well as people. This entire portion of Assateague Island is managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service as the Chincoteague Wildlife Refuge. Although, however, there is a mile of public beach which is managed by the National Park Service. Since Assateague Island is protected government land, the fire company secures an annual grazing permit for their ponies from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. This dates back to 1943, when the refuge was first started. So, how do people find and observe these famous ponies? After crossing the bridge by car, foot, or bike, visitors immediately pass through an entrance booth to pay a fee. The road becomes Beach Road and leads to the public beach, which is about 3.5 miles from the booths. Ponies can often be spotted on the southern side of Beach Road. Cars may pull over, and the ponies are usually off in the distance, requiring binoculars or a camera zoom lens. Further along, there is the Woodland Trail near the corrals, which offers an observation deck. In this area also is a 3-mile wildlife loop around Snow Goose Pool, which is supposedly off limits to the ponies. But they are famous for getting around fencing and actually walking on both trails and grazing in areas off of the trails. They are also good about putting themselves back into their designated areas too. If reported, members of the fire department will come and herd them back home. The northern herd is more difficult to access. Off the wildlife loop, there is a road called the Service Road. It goes north to a turnaround about 7 miles from the Maryland-Virginia state line. The Service Road is about 7 miles in length to the turnaround. Visitors can walk, ride a bike part of the way to a gate which is called the D. Dyke Gate, or take a guided bus trip sponsored by the Chincoteague Natural History Association. The CNHA is a non-profit organization that works closely with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Both groups operate the Herbert H. Bateman Educational and Administrative Center, which is located near the Wildlife Loop. Reservations for the bus trips are made through the Bateman Center. If you should happen to visit Chincoteague and Assateague during Thanksgiving weekend, The service road is opened to cars to drive to the turnaround. We have done this and got some great footage of the ponies. Even though there is a public beach, the ponies do not have access to this beach. Neither do they have access to the northern beach, which people can only enjoy by walking or biking. However, they are often sighted on the marsh side of the island, offering another great way to find the ponies, by boat or kayak. Boat tours are readily available to visitors through several local companies. Information about the various boat companies is available on the internet, and brochures can be found in most shops and hotels, even restaurants. There are also several outfitters who rent kayaks. Through these companies, visitors are transported to various public launch areas on Chincoteague. They have secured all the proper permits. If you use your own kayak, you will need a decal to use town boat launches. Be aware that currents and winds can make kayaking quite challenging. We learned to paddle over to the Chincoteague marsh beaches with outgoing tides and to paddle back in on incoming tides. These beaches are popular spots for both herds. Local outfitters can make recommendations. We recommend all 5 activities to observe these wild beauties: walking, biking, boating, kayaking, and the bus tour. Pony Pinning Week is truly a world-class event. It dates back to 1924 and is the last of its kind. Starting in colonial times, settlers would graze livestock on barrier islands and round them up for branding, sale, and rodeos. This Pony Pinning Week officially begins on Saturday when the southern herd is rounded up into the corrals off of Beach Road. The firemen, also known as the saltwater cowboys, first drive the ponies to the watering hole near the corrals. If you choose, you can walk down to the watering hole through heavy brush. It is very muddy and marshy, home to ticks and chiggers. During Pony Pinning Week, the path up the hill is now fenced off to pedestrians to make an open runway for the ponies. After the ponies have all been herded to the watering hole, then the gate is opened and the ponies charge up the hill and into the corrals. On Sunday, the northern herd is rounded up and enclosed in the northern corrals beyond the D-Dyke Gate. The service road is closed to hikers during this event. However, the bus takes visitors to the corrals on that Sunday afternoon to view the northern herd. A spectacular event then happens on Monday morning about 6 a.m., the beach walk. The saltwater cowboys drive the northern herd down the beach to the corrals off of Beach Road, uniting the two herds. Thousands of people gather on the beach to watch this. We recommend arriving by 5 a.m. to get a parking place and walking northward to find a less crowded space for good visibility. Afterwards, visitors can park and observe the wild ponies throughout Monday and Tuesday. It is interesting to watch how the stallions keep their mares and foals in separate groups. Occasionally, a fight breaks out between two stallions due to their close proximity. People who want to buy a foal at the auction observe and pick out their favorites. Those who follow the stallions and mares are often interested in certain bloodlines and color markings. On Wednesday, 2 big events happen: the swim across Chincoteague Channel and the parade down Main Street. The ponies are driven to the channel and forced to swim over to Chincoteague. This always happens at slack tide when the ponies won't have to encounter strong currents. There are 3 ways to observe this swim: by boat, kayak, or on shore. Many people trek through marsh and mud below Pony Swim Lane off of the Ridge Road to be in the area where the ponies will actually come ashore. Large crowds of people make it difficult to see well. Carrying photography equipment can also be very challenging because the mud can be knee-deep. If you attempt this, bring water and bug spray. It can be a long, hot wait. With drone technology, the swim is now recorded closer than ever. In 2017, live streaming from a drone was displayed at Veterans Memorial Park on a large screen, improving the visual experience of thousands of people who gather there. Having observed the swim by boat, kayak, and marsh wading, our best experience was in a kayak. After the ponies rest for about an hour, they are herded up Pony Swim Lane, down Ridge Road, across on Beebe Road, and then up Main Street to the carnival grounds. There is plenty of room on this 2-mile route to find a good spot. Once on the carnival grounds, the ponies await the final big event, the auction of the foals on Thursday morning. This is the annual big fundraiser for the fire company, raising $150,000 in 2016. That year, the price range for foals went from $550 to $11,000. Public sales statistics for all years can be accessed on the internet. Before every annual auction, several foals are selected to be buybacks. They are selected for their gender, lineage, and coloring, as they will remain in the wild to replenish the herd. People who purchase a buyback only get to name their pony, but their purchase is tax deductible. Since buybacks are typically the most costly of all the ponies, it is possible to join a group of people to collectively purchase a buyback. We donate money to the Chincoteague Legacy Group because this group is large and is able to purchase one or more buybacks every year. It is a well-managed and democratic group allowing all members equal voting rights regardless of the amount of the donation. If you are interested in learning more about this group, they can be contacted through Facebook. To separate the foals from their dams, the mares and their foals are driven through a chute and foals are channeled into holding pens. It is traumatic for them and you can hear cries of fear and anxiety. However, life goes on in the equine world. The Saltwater Cowboys remind folks that separation happens to all mares and foals. Hundreds of people gather at the auction grounds as the foals are brought out by Saltwater Cowboys to parade them around. Their new owners must pick them up by Friday afternoon. It is an emotional yet serious event, and we encourage only experienced and committed buyers to, quote, take one home. In fact, if someone is going to buy one, it is optimal to buy two so that they can socialize properly. Detailed information about Pony Penning Week is available online. On Friday, the southern herd quietly swims back across the channel, while the northern herd is loaded up in large stock trailers to be transported back to the northern contained areas on Assateague. Chincoteague itself is a quaint island town with a historic district, campgrounds, hotels, shops, and restaurants. Visitors can rent bikes, kayaks, and book boat tours and fishing expeditions. There is actually a lot to do in Chincoteague, and it is a popular vacation destination on the eastern shore. The ponies over on Assateague remain a big attraction, but it is also popular with birding enthusiasts and folks interested in the aerospace industry. Missiles are actually launched on nearby Wallops Island. Since the ponies are privately owned by the Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company, and they are observed by so many people, The herd is subject to a big dilemma. How much human interference is appropriate and humane? People in general want the fire company to take care of the ponies. They want the ponies to have food and water supplemented in harsh conditions and to be immunized and dewormed. Yet, if they are overly managed, they lose their wildness as they become desensitized to human interactions. The fire company wrestles with this balance. Currently, the ponies are rounded up in the fall and spring for health checks, including shots and deworming. Ill and injured ponies can be removed for care. In the past, outside stock has been introduced into the herd for genetic health, but the newcomers seldom survived too long in the harsh conditions. Now, occasionally, mares are bred off-island with stallions and return to the island with their foals as a better means to maintain genetic diversity. Life on the island is still harsh, and storms and flooding can have major impact on these ponies. The refuge allows certain restricted areas to be open to the ponies in major flood events. In the Great Ash Wednesday flood of 1962, many ponies lost their lives. For many people, the Chincoteague ponies are a hobby. Field guides are available identifying the herd members from year to year, and many books cite amazing stories about these resourceful equines. They actually are a source of wonder to people all over the world.